Infanticide plus suicide. Mother kills child or children and commit suicide in Yaoundé, leaving an entire neighborhood in disarray. And Ramadan Muslims in Douala are preparing to welcome the holy month of Ramadan, a period marked by intensified prayers and renewed commitment to the month of penitence. Of course, they are praying for 40 days in deep reflection for Christ. Top stories. Welcome to join us on the 6:15. I'm Kejan Henry Athembe. We begin with our top stories. Of course, you can link us on our respective platforms on Canal International. We begin from Yaoundé, especially as there is this horrific story of a woman who killed her children, 3 of them, and then committed suicide. But the undertone of this, in fact, psychiatric.
An atmosphere of shock, sadness, fear and disbelief that reigns this Tuesday morning at Mesebe Colbison, Yaoundé. A scenario that appears like a horror film, but no, it is a bitter reality. She is said to have taken life out of her 3 children and killing her own self after the terrific act. As narrated by the neighbors, the immediate cause of the unthinkable situation is said to be the husband traveling without informing the wife. We don't know exactly what has been happening, but yesterday the husband traveled to China without telling her. When he informed her while already on the plane, the wife then replied with a bitter message in the neighborhood to go and find out what was happening in his house. And rushing to the house, the door is locked. They would mobilize for an immediate solution to open and uncover what is happening. She had locked the door. It is one of us who is a builder who used the axe to force it open. When we got in, we had only our eyes to cry. The 3 children were already dead, with liquid flowing from their mouths. She was bleeding with cuts. 4 minutes later, she gave up the ghost.
Quand elle voulait parler, le sang sortait au niveau de là où elle s'est sectionnée.
Faced with the horrible action, the inhabitants quickly alerted the forces of law and order, the police, the gendarmerie, the divisional officer for Yaoundé 7, and the chief of the locality all came running to take stock of the situation. A bitter pill for the inhabitants to swallow, especially given that she is said to be a very polite and composed lady. She is a very polite woman, very jovial and respectful. We are also surprised by this reaction from her. These are teachers of her children, visiting the compound this February 17 to confirm the disturbing information that has gone viral on the social media.
Reporting there, thanks very much, Hyacinth Chair. And of course, to another pathetic story, TV icon Consti Eka dies in Côte d'Ivoire, universally recognized as Le Roi de Micro, or the King of Microphone. The celebrated TV icon gave up the ghost in Abidjan in a medical facility following a malaise. Cynthia Lati recounts the unfortunate situation and, of course, the track record of the man called Consti Eka.
Cameroon's media industry and the wider African audiovisual community are mourning the loss of Consti Eka, popularly known as the King of TV. He reportedly fell ill while at work in Abidjan and was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Born Constantine Ekani Mebenga, Consti Eka rose to prominence with landmark programs such as music video shows and major live variety broadcasts that shaped modern Cameroonian television. He worked with media outlets including Canal International and CRTV before moving to Côte d'Ivoire, where he became a leading figure in the Ivorian media scene. A passionate promoter of African culture, Eka bridged Cameroon with the international music scene. Through the music video shows launched in 1986, he brought countless Africans and global stars to Cameroonian audience, earning the nickname Le Roi de Showbiz. He organized concerts and events, mentored local talents including Cameroonian star Petit Pays, and created the Africa Music Awards in 1992. He later produced programs for Saint TV, giving Cameroonian artists wider francophone visibility. Spanning over 3 decades, Eka's career included television, radio, live events, and international collaborations. Tributes continue to pour in from media professionals and audiences across Africa, describing him as a visionary and cultural ambassador. His sudden passing has left a deep void in the Central and West African entertainment landscape.
Much Cynthia Latia, and of course we are extending heartfelt condolences to the family of Consti Eka and wishing his soul to rest in perfect peace. We will be coming back subsequently on the demise of Consti Eka, having worked with him for a couple of years in Canal International. Now, the first hearing of the Brian Kamga case opened at the Ekunu Court of First Instance in Yaoundé, and the plaintiff actually presented the facts, evidence, and witnesses narrating the love relationship that actually turned into a jealous presentation by Beatrice Nkamo.
This Tuesday, Brian Kamga, temporarily released last February 3rd, appeared in court as was agreed for the first hearing. The plaintiff, one Wanje Njike, narrated her story with a certain Gérard Denis of French nationality, a relationship that later turned sour.
Gérard Denis in France has really promised to take the child of my client even without her agreement.
She presented evidence, called up witnesses to build her case, adding she has filed a complaint with Interpol. Which Brian Kamga is not involved anywhere, his defense lawyer cried out. That turned into jealousy and extremely heightened Oedipus complex. I believe Mr. Brian Kamga has nothing to do with this case. No one till now understands the link between Brian Kamga and the breaking up or the idea of the jilted fiancé wanting to appropriate a child. We don't see it. We don't see it.
Du fiancé rompu de s'approprier un enfant. Nous, on ne voit pas. On voit pas.
The plaintiff's defense, on his part, wanted Brian Kamga to react to certain facts about him.
After it, Mr. Kamga went to school without informing our client. So until now, he has not given any real explanation about those facts.
After the cross-examination, the case was postponed for next March 17, time for the public prosecutor's submission on the legal qualification of the facts presented.
Ngamo reporting there. Thanks very much, Beatrice Ngamo. And of course, we swing over to the New Bell neighborhood, where residents of Funkel in Douala 2 subdivision are crying very hard on the resurging insecurity in that area. Of course, the rising insecurity is a result of the boycott of vigilante groups that were put up to make sure they oversee security narratives in those areas. More in the reports on how this has been affecting the population negatively.
The surveillance camera installed to protect a neighborhood library in New Bell Funkel in Douala 2 subdivision failed to prevent a break-in. According to this shop owner, unidentified individuals stormed the library at night and made off with a sum of 350,000 CFA francs alongside with the surveillance camera's hard drive. Around 6 a.m., a neighbor called and told me that he saw my door half open. I got here around 7:30 a.m. and discovered that some people forced their way in the shop. The incident has reignited concerns about security in the neighborhood. Residents say the absence of a functioning vigilance committee has left the community increasingly vulnerable to theft and other criminal activity. What happened won't have happened if we had a secured vigilance committee in place. This level of high insecurity has to stop. The quarterhead confirmed that the local vigilance committee has been inactive for the past 2 months. It's been 2 months that the vigilance committee have not been working because, according to them, the population was not cooperating. They were not motivating them to keep working. Residents are now calling on authorities to intervene swiftly to restore security measures and address the concerns of vigilance committee.
Much, Sherifa, we stay, of course, with you as you are going to report that the month of Ramadan, the Muslims in Douala are already bracing up for the month of Ramadan. It is a month of penitence, of fasting. But then, what are the intricacies behind the fasting of Ramadan, as most of the Muslims are committed despite the economic odds? Sherifa takes us to the Muslim world.
The Muslim community in Douala is ready to receive the month of Ramadan, one of the most crucial months in the Islamic calendar. It is a month where Muslims should read often the Holy Quran, share with those who don't have, for it's a blessed month. According to some faithful, Ramadan goes beyond physical restraint. We call on all Muslims to pray most often because this month comes once a year. Muslim scholars emphasize that the discipline and values cultivated during Ramadan shall not end when the month concludes. The main objective of this period is not just to abstain from food, but also abstain from sinful acts, being a good Muslim before your Creator, Muslims and non-Muslims.
Toujours continuer ce genre de comportement où on a eu au mois de Ramadan.
Muslims say they strive to carry forward the lessons of patience, generosity, and self-control during this period. During this period, I have to put it upon myself to share with the needy. For Muslims in Douala, Ramadan is both a deeply personal journey and a shared spiritual experience. During this period, we fast with our eyes, tongue, and legs. That is, we don't see what we are not, as the holy month is set to begin February 18, 2026. The message from Muslim faithful met in the streets of Douala is clear. The spirit of Ramadan is not confined to 30 days, but is meant to shape daily life long after the fasting ends.
Very much, Sherifa, and of course, the Catholic Christians across the world are equally preparing to enter the Lenten period or Lenten season. Parishes across the country are already making final arrangements for the Ash that will probably come with the Lenten season. It is the beginning of 40 days of prayers, fasting, and deep reflection as we are equally gathering from you, Cynthia Lati.
The Ruth of Shop, Tuesday deeply spiritual, a transition that separates Catholic Christians from their ordinary lifestyle, taking them into the Lenten season.
Traditionally, it was a day of preparation. Lenten period is a period of fasting, period of silence, a period of keeping oneself away from noise, away from exaggerations. So people from the past used to find themselves together to prepare it. They will eat together, drink something, because fasting is recommended during Lent.
The Church, ahead of Lent that begins with Ash Wednesday tomorrow, February 18, 2026, is preparing both materially and spiritually.
We need ashes. We have to prepare ashes for the preparation. Then there is also a spiritual preparation, prayers, celebrations, Eucharistic celebrations, and we have to go through the messages of the hierarchy of the church on this Lent 2026.
This period is one of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. The Holy Father Pope Leo has called on Catholic Christians to respect abstinence, that is, abstaining from words that hurt our neighbors. The Archbishop of Yaoundé, Jean Baraga, during this Lenten season has also invited Christians to build up the human family, God's family, by loving one another as we live together. The youths are being called to enter the Lenten season with lots of engagement, prayer, and hard work. The ashes to be administered on the foreheads tomorrow, the push.
Thanks very much, Beatrice Ngamu, for that report. We are wrapping up for this edition of the 6:15 with me, Kejang Henry Atimbe. We want to thank you graciously for being there with us. And seeing that, Lee PG with Jaws right ahead with Lady Brief, the actuality. From all of us is goodbye.